world? R.I.C.H coming right back at you. The Super Bowl halftime show used to be about one thing: turn the music up and sing along. But lately, it's been about something different. It's been about culture, about identity. And when the Super Bowl halftime show put Bad Bunny on that stage, a whole lot of people realized they was watching something they couldn't fully connect to. Not because it wasn't good, but because they couldn't understand it.
The Super Bowl halftime show was a ginormous rating success. 135.4 million people watched the Bad Bunny spectacular, making it the most watched halftime show in history. That's not all. The show is also giving his music a huge boost.
On the day after his halftime performance, Bad Bunny took the top 6 spots on Spotify's top 50 U.S. chart.
But the Puerto Rico native, who sings exclusively in Spanish, continues to spark remarkable political backlash.
Not one word of English, one word of English, one word.
Conservative commentators are losing their minds.
Nobody understood a thing. We needed subtitles for our own Super Bowl.
Megyn Kelly is totally flipping out.
To get up there and perform the whole show in Spanish is a middle finger to the rest of America. Who gives a damn that we have 40 million Spanish speakers in the United States? We have 310 million who don't speak a lick of Spanish.
That moment right there is where the divide started. Some people saw pride, some people saw history, other people saw a performance they felt like wasn't for them.
I'm like, who is this man? Golly. He can't sing. I mean, like, what is this? Golly. This is ridiculous. And got the American flag and all these other flags. And yeah, God bless you too. Get off the stage. Please get off the stage. Get off. Put the game back on. I can't stand this. Tell me that. I mean, what in the world is all this foolishness? Thank you. Get off the stage, please. Jesus.
And before anybody gets defensive, I've seen this before. I remember when Kendrick Lamar did the halftime show last year, and my mama was looking at me like I was supposed to translate it. She was like, what is he saying? She can't follow his words. She couldn't connect to the lyrics. She just saw visuals and movement. And in that moment, she felt the same way some people felt watching Bad Bunny. Like they was watching something that wasn't built for them to understand. And that's the part nobody wants to admit. This ain't about hating. This is about relating. When you can't understand the words, you can't fully enjoy the moment. And the Super Bowl ain't just a game. It's an event people watch for entertainment. People who don't even like football turn in for the halftime show. And the expectation is simple. You feel included. But lately, the NFL has been using that stage to make cultural statements. First with hip hop, now with Latin music. And both times, some people felt seen and some people felt left out. When Kendrick performed, hip hop fans felt proud. But people who don't know hip hop felt lost. When Bad Bunny performed, Latin fans felt proud. But people who don't speak Spanish felt lost. And the common denominator is not the artist, it's the feeling. The feeling of watching the biggest stage in America and feeling like you're not a part of it. And that's where the conversation really lives. Not in who was better and not in who deserved it, but in the question, who is the halftime show really for? Is it for the world? Or is it for the people sitting on their couch on Sundays? And that's the real question, because businesses usually work one way. You serve your core base. You cater to the people who've been showing up for decades. You make them feel included. But this felt different. This felt like the NFL saying, we serving something bigger than just y'all right now. And while that's powerful, it also makes some people feel disconnected. Not angry, just disconnected. And that disconnect is what left the door open for another name to enter the chat. And that name was Chris Brown. Right after the show ended, he posted 4 words that shook the internet. I think it's safe to say they need me.
Chris Brown has responded to the backlash that he's got for saying Bad Bunny didn't deserve the Super Bowl gig. Chris shared a short message online right after Bad Bunny's halftime show at the Super Bowl ended. He wrote, I think it's safe to say they need me, without naming anyone directly. The timing of the post stood out immediately because it was right after Bad Bunny's performance ended. Because Chris did not mention Bad Bunny by name, but everyone knew exactly who he was talking about. Some people read the post as playful confidence, and others saw it as a completely mean-spirited and rude. In the midst of this, Chris has responded to those demanding for an apology. Underneath an article about it, Chris left a comment. In his comment, he wrote, I said what I said.
No names, no explanation, but his timing said everything. Because whether you agree or disagree with the show, his post shifted the conversation. It went from, did you understand it? To would Chris Brown have been better? And that's when hip hop started talking. Not about Latin culture, not about NFL politics, but about entertainment. Because one thing you can't deny about Chris Brown is he knows how to put on a show. Dancing, hits, energy. The type of show where nobody needs a translator. And then Boosie Badass added fuel to it.
I want to see Chris Brown.
He said what a lot of people been thinking for years. How has Chris Brown never done a Super Bowl? And now the conversation got layered. It wasn't just about Bad Bunny. It wasn't just about understanding. It was about recognition. Who gets that stage and who don't? Because you start realizing the halftime show ain't just music. It's politics. It's image. It's who the NFL feels comfortable putting in front of the world. And that's when the divide got even clearer. Some people said this was a beautiful cultural moment. Other people said this didn't feel like it was for us. And both sides were telling the truth, just from different seats on the couch. Because like I said before, we've seen this same feeling. When Kendrick Lamar was on that stage, hip-hop was proud. But my mama felt lost. When Bad Bunny was on that stage, Latin fans felt proud. But a lot of NFL fans was lost. And that's the part people keep skipping over. This ain't about talent. This is about translation. Can the average person sitting at home follow what's happening without working for it? Because the Super Bowl halftime show used to be easy. You hear the songs, you know the words, you feel included. Now, it feels like you gotta be a part of a certain culture to really get it. And that's where the friction lives. Not in hate, but in disconnection. And when people feel disconnected, they start asking questions. Who is this for? Who is this built for? Is this for the fans or is this for the statement? And when you ask that question, you start seeing why Chris Brown's post hit so hard. Because whether people want to admit it or not, everybody knows what a Chris Brown halftime show would look like. Hits you know, moves you recognize, energy you can feel without translation. But at the same time, you gotta respect what Bad Bunny represented. You gotta respect what Kendrick represented. Because both of them stood on that stage and made their culture visible. And that matters. But so does the feeling of the people at home who just want to feel included in the moment. And that's the tension. The NFL trying to speak to the world while some of their core fans just want to feel heard. And that's a hard balance to strike. Now we got to sit with the part that don't fit in a tweet. Not who was right and not who was wrong. But why this felt so big to so many people. Because the Super Bowl halftime show ain't just a performance. It's a mirror. It shows you what the culture is and it shows you who feels seen by it. When Kendrick Lamar stood on that stage, it was hip hop. Bad Bunny, it was the Latin culture. And the feeling on both sides was disconnection. Just a feeling of watching something huge and feeling like you're not a part of it. And that's where Chris Brown comes back in. Because he brought back the idea that the halftime show should be something that everybody can enjoy. Energy that translates without a dictionary. But like I said, you cannot dismiss what those other moments meant. You can't dismiss the pride. You can't dismiss the history. Because those performances were not easy. They were about representation. And representation matters. But so does inclusion. And that's the tightrope the NFL is walking. Trying to represent the world without losing the people on their couch. Trying to make a statement without making people feel like the statement ain't even for them. Because at the end of the day, the halftime show is not a concert. It's a moment shared by millions of people who do not share the same culture. And when that moment starts feeling like it requires translation, the tension gets loud. Not because people hate, but because people want to feel included. And that's the part worth talking about. Not who deserves it, not who would have been better. But how do you make a moment that everybody can feel without working for it? And maybe that's what people miss the most. But hey, that's just my opinion. What's yours? Like, comment, subscribe. Establish Rich. I'll be back with another one. Peace.